Good day, everyone, and welcome to AARP Alabama's and Alabama Coastal Foundation's broadcast of Connect to Your Coast. I'm Dorothy Dorton. I am the Associate State Director for Outreach for Lower Alabama, and I'm down here in Mobile. And joining me today is my good friend and colleague, Mark Birdie. He's the Executive Director of the Alabama Coastal Foundation. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, good to see you, Dorothy.
Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate having you. And we are here to talk about how you can connect to your coast. So, Mark, can you start off by telling us a little bit about the Alabama Coastal Foundation and then kind of explain to maybe people in Huntsville and Birmingham and places like that, why connecting to your coast and why the coast is so important to all of us in Alabama?
Absolutely. And we are a statewide organization, so this is a very fitting venue, and we love always partnering with AARP of Alabama on a variety of different things. But yes, the Alabama Coastal Foundation, we were started 28 years ago down based in Fairhope and moved across to Mobile, but came statewide in 2012 to improve and protect Alabama's coastal environment. And we always say that we do that through cooperation, education, and participation. So we try to work with everybody. Basically, state is filled with rivers. Our state seal has rivers literally embedded in it, 132,000 miles of rivers and streams. So we're a water state, and whatever happens up north makes its way down south. So we try to focus on all the issues throughout the state.
That's amazing. So all of those miles of rivers and waterways come right down to our coast. So that's fascinating. So let's get started and tell us a little bit about ACF's mission.
Yeah, it's to improve and protect our coastal environment. And we say cooperation, that means we work with other individuals, other nonprofit groups. We do with the local government, state government, federal government. We work with for the private sector. We do small business, big industry. As long as you're going to do something positive for the coastal environment, we're going to work with you. One of our board members 10 years ago came up with a phrase, inclusive environmental stewardship, which is really part and parcel of who we are. And we don't care what political affiliation anybody is, as long as there's something positive they can do, we're going to work with them.
Absolutely.
And then we have education programs we'll get to in just a bit. And then really where we shine is our volunteer participation. About 90% of the work gets done through our volunteer efforts. And we have a lot of things online that anybody in the state can do there as well.
Wonderful. And speaking of volunteers, and of course, down here in Mobile, we are deep into, they call this deep gras, Mardi Gras time. And so part of what you do, which is so wonderful, is your volunteers participate in this Eco Team. Tell us about this.
Yes, our Eco Team is fantastic. It was actually founded by the Downtown Mobile Alliance. There was a person there who was working there as their communications person, but it's called Cleaner, Greener LODA, Lower Downtown. And in essence, we said, okay, let's start cleaning up at music festivals and having, recycling as much as we can. Other communities, for Mardi Gras, we're the oldest in the country. But I think New Orleans had started recycling. And so let's try to focus that effort. So we had volunteers when she became, Valerie Longo became one of our employees later on. So we basically, still maintain this cooperative effort to encourage people to recycle. 2019, the city of Mobile said, hey, we like what y'all volunteers have done so much. We're going to start doing that with city workers. 2 years ago, basically the city started taking it on. They did about 10 times as much as we were able to collect, just because of, instead of doing the last 4 days of Mardi Gras, they are doing it every parade. And so I think they've already, they started collecting again. And the downtown parks in city of Mobile have recycling containers receptacles that we've encouraged people to do. So, all the social media stuff, we try to give them credit. The city workers do a phenomenal job. And again, We're very glad the city has taken that on. And we also have our Eco Team volunteers helping out with the Hangout Music Festival. So we do, try to do this not only through the Mardi Gras, but all throughout, getting people who do events. We have a Coastal Alabama Green Events Planning Guide. So you can do this free of charge by downloading the guide on our website, which I see you have loading at the bottom of our screen right here, joinacf.org.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Mark, if there's, say, a festival or something in Birmingham or maybe along one of the rivers, is this something that maybe, I know, this takes such a big effort, but is this something that people in other parts of the state could kind of develop and implement and volunteer with you at those?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that planning guide really could basically is the guide to do it yourself. We do contract work. Part of our, we get individual donations, corporate sponsorships, foundation grants, and we do contract as well. So depending on the need, we'd be happy to partner and try to make that happen.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And like you said, you've got a how-to book right there at joinacf.org. So that's wonderful. Let's talk about some more great stuff that you have. One of them all of these are pretty near and dear to my heart personally and professionally, but the Livable Communities Coalition, this is something that is really, we've worked together very closely with for years now, as far as, AARP has our Livable Communities campaign, and that we work to make things accessible for everyone and enjoyable for everyone, particularly outdoor spaces. So this works really well with you guys. And tell us a little bit about that coalition, and then the other great things we have up here.
Yeah, the Livable Communities Coalition is a phenomenal group. We actually, in 2014 is when that initiative came together. We have chamber groups, we have private sector groups, we have other nonprofits. The more people we get outside to enjoy walking, running, bicycling, and kayaking, the more they'll want to protect it. So that's kind of the reason why ACF is helping to do this under our cooperation part of our mission statement. And yes, we have bicycle rides every year. It's the Crepe Myrtle Trail Ride. That's Mobile United's Natural Resource Task Force, but we are a part of that and help to conduct that. And we're planning to do one this April 9th. And then our Good Life Bicycle Ride that ACF runs. I've got my shirt on here. That is down at the Gulf State Park at the Lodge, which is a very environmentally friendly place, and they give us a good discount on hotel rooms. But that ride always happens the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend. So that'll be May 7th this year. Rider registration we're going to put out on March the 7th. So the ride is actually May 7th. But yeah, we're excited about that. Again, more people we get out to the environment, the more we'll want them to be able to know that we'll have great advocates to do that. And the Livable Communities Coalition, we actually provide safety education for police officers about what bicycle laws are. And that's free of charge through our website as well.
And I think that's so dynamic to not only be about, conserving, but also enjoying the environment, it gets more people out there. So that's really great. And then this is a really exciting discovery, really. And now we have a documentary to go with it, is the underwater forest right off of the Gulf Coast.
It's an award-winning documentary because Ben Raines, who's one of our advisory council members, he actually wrote, filmed, and directed this. It's called The Underwater Forest. You can watch it free of charge on our website. But we actually announced that in 2017, that video. So you might have seen it already before, but the really great news with that, we have legislation introduced to help protect that, a part of the National Marine Sanctuary. It takes about 4 to 5 years to make that happen. And so we are very excited that legislation has been introduced into Congress last December. We have a statement of support you can sign free of charge. Again, this is a very positive thing, not only for our environment to help protect it, but also for our economy here, because it's the ecotourism. People want to scuba dive down there, and it helps to protect not only fish. You can still fish and scuba dive, but it helps to protect and make sure nobody takes those underwater forests. It's fossilized forests that have been discovered. I guess they were grown 60,000 years ago, but it came when Hurricane Ivan came. It actually, the documentary documents about how that actually unearthed all of those fossilized cypress trees.
That's amazing. And it's so phenomenal to watch that. And if I ever get myself into scuba diving again, I'm definitely going to take advantage of that. And folks, if you've heard Ben Rains's name before, I just have to give him a plug because it is Black History Month. He is the one who discovered the Clotilda up in the Alabama River. So he is credited with that discovery and has gone on to write a book and do some documentaries about that as well. So he's just a very dynamic person who is all about water conservation in Alabama, and through all of that has made some amazing discoveries. So that's a really, really wonderful thing. And the underwater forest, please, if you can, go on and watch it. It's really fascinating. And tell us, these education programs, these are the best.
We have plenty of education programs, and if you're a retired teacher, you could definitely sign up. We have volunteer opportunities we offer as well, but our Bay Buddies is 1st through 3rd grade. You could do that online. We send teachers in or volunteers in to schools when we are allowed to go into schools, no non-pandemic times. But our 4th grade water festivals are hands-on opportunities for 4th graders to learn about watersheds and how do you keep those clean. We have our 5th grade program is called the Coastal Kids Quiz. If you, anywhere in the state of Alabama, you can have your 5th grade teacher, public or private, local one, register today. It's 100% online. They can get $100 of classroom instruction funding if 80% of their students participate. Again, they get a resources. It's about coastal insects this round, is 3 weeks. And then next round, the final round for the school year is on sea turtles. So they can register anytime, again, through our website, joinacf.org. It's free to register, free to participate, and the resources are tied to whatever the course objectives are for the grade level, for the science course objectives for the grade level specific. And then we have an estuary core program for middle school students and some career awareness videos, again, free of charge on our website, and as opportunities for high school students to do service projects as well. But we educate people, professionals, about, if you're a real estate agent or a realtor or developer or lawyer who needs the continuing education units, we have 2 workshops called the Wetland Compliance Workshop. They're regular. I think it's 3 hours, regular one. That we have an advanced one that's 5 hours. That's this summer, June 16th in Mobile and July 19th in Baldwin County in Robertsdale. Again, free training for law enforcement officers. We have Fort Morgan ambassadors who educate our people who vacation on Fort Morgan about bringing their stuff up every night and making sure if you dig a big hole to fill it up before you go up, which is not only good for humans, but also for our sea turtles, especially during nesting season. And then we have a fantastic new program called Coastal IQ. You can do this anywhere. Again, free of charge. You can sign up. It's basically teaches you, or it quizzes you about your coastal environment knowledge. And there's a beginner, intermediate, and advanced under 12 different topics. So you'll have a great time. That's pictures. And they also give you hints so that you can learn as you go. So that's one of our best and new education programs as well.
That's awesome. So much education and fun doing it. And like you said, all of this is pretty much, most of this is virtual. So anybody in the state can participate. And it's always fun to do these kind of things, especially in your own state in Alabama. So that's great. I'm really excited about that. And then this I love because I think I actually named some baby ospreys once. So
you won. We had a contest literally 10 years ago. So our osprey, is a part of our logo. Those are, their diet is 98% seafood. So we like them. And they were, that's a great story that, back in the 70s when we were using DDT, we humans,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, scientists said, hey, these osprey eggs, they're so fragile. They're literally, their mamas are, their population has decreased so much.
Yeah.
And we realized it was the osprey were eating the fish that was eating the DDT. So we said, let's ban this. Let's don't use this anymore. So it's a good, hopeful story for how we operate as well for the Coastal Foundation. But yeah, for part of our participation, part of our mission statement, we get Boy Scouts to do their Eagle projects to build osprey platforms that we build and install throughout our coastal counties. We actually have a live video feed that we share with the City of Orange Beach and the Nature Conservancy. And that is literally we spotted the osprey in the nest last week, this week. So again, free of charge, you can go to our website, joinacf.org, and watch that video. And if you're a third grade teacher or know a third grade teacher, we have lesson plans that are again tied to the course objectives that you can watch and have your class participate, already built in free of charge on our website. But it is a fascinating thing to watch and experience and see the mama and the daddy, lay their eggs, and they share the resources in terms of going out and bringing food back, and the eggs hatch and the hatchlings fledge. So it's just a really beautiful thing to experience.
That really is. And it's another testament to how diverse our coast is, and how these birds, because of, the DDT, they've come back from the brink of extinction, just like our brown pelicans did years ago. And, for those of you folks who don't know this, we actually have some bald eagles living down here. So that's pretty exciting too. I mean, we have so much stuff down on the coast. So even if please come visit us, but take your trash with you. So pick up after yourself. But that's really, really fascinating. And it is fun to watch them, especially after the babies hatch. That's a lot of fun. So another thing that's really important is the, preservation of our dunes and our beaches to make sure that they don't wash away, essentially.
Absolutely. And we give volunteer opportunities throughout the year to plant trees, seagrass, sea oats, like you're seeing at the bottom of the corner there. That is actually Dolphin Island's East End Beach. That was a very cold November day in 2016. And those sea oats were about 8 inches out of the ground. That's sand fencing there too. And sea oats help to keep the sand in place and provide habitat as well, obviously. But those 8 inches, however many years ago, 6 years ago, are now 8 feet sand dunes. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. Actually, that's the cover of our annual report from last year, is to show the growth throughout the years. And again, we put our annual report, our strategic planning document, everything, all of our board members, all of our advisory council members are up on our website, joinacf.org. I think I get it paid a quarter every time I say the I really do. It's one of those things that it's a great way for people to learn about the organization. And we're very happy to have all that information on our free of charge on our website.
Absolutely. And you, like I said, like you just said, you have all of these great educational resources for folks and for teachers and classes. And it's fun to learn about this stuff. And here's another one. Tell us about the invasive species.
Yes. So there are some non-native species here in Alabama that we try to pull back. That takes a lot of effort. So we need volunteers to help with that, as well as our normal cleanups throughout the year, try to do collection. So those are good opportunities. We partner with Alabama PALS, which is a statewide organization that runs the Alabama Coastal Cleanup with the Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. They're the lead groups, but we try to get volunteers to all the different sites and zones out there. And that's always the third Saturday of the month of September, in case people are wanting to come down and help out for that.
And now, what kind of invasive species are we looking for?
Chinese privet. We've got, apple snails. Mobile Baykeeper is one of the partner groups that really helps to drive that, and Mobile Bay National Estuary Program. So there are unfortunately a whole plethora of invasive species that, if you tigerfish, which you don't try to make sure that their populations don't grow too much, then they strip the food and other for the native species that are here.
Right, right, absolutely. And then the oyster shell recycling grant. This is exciting. This is fun.
Yes, this is really one of our favorite new programs. We actually had one of our volunteers back in 2015 said, "Hey, he was a restaurant. He was the executive chef over at the Floribama Yacht Club, and we were having one of our free outreach events there." And he said, "People have been talking about doing an oyster shell recycling program in coastal Alabama for 2 decades. Y'all need to do something about that." Literally 2 weeks later, a grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation came out. I was like, "This seems like a good fit." Basically, the grant itself paid to establish and help restaurants understand, instead of that sell oysters on the half shell, instead of throwing those away and paying somebody to take them to a landfill, give them to us, because an outside of an oyster shell is the favorite place for a new oyster to latch onto. So we helped to establish the program, we had a 2-year grant that we were able to do within about a year and just a few months. And the second part was to keep it sustainable. And so as of October 31st, to Halloween of 2016 is when we started collecting. The number is, if you go back one slide, because
I think I got these mixed up. I apologize.
No, that's all good. 17.3 million shells have been collected, and that we've helped to fund the program continuously by restaurant fees as well as donations and grants. But that equates to about 271 dump trucks, those large trucks, the weight of 359 elephants, or if you're like manatee, it's 4,305 manatees, and it's 43.3 acres worth of coverage that we were able to collect so far. So we know that program keeps on going. It's really cool because when we wrote the grant, we based it off of what they were doing in New Orleans, which we found out later that's based it off of what they were doing in Texas, Corpus Christi, and which was doing it what they did in New York. So it was one of those pay it forward things. We've been helping Mississippi out, and hopefully they will start a new program there in the near future to recycle their oyster shells too, right next door.
Awesome. And like you said, the oyster shells that you use, or that are left over from eating them on the half shell, go right back into the environment where the baby oysters can land and grow, and it's just a perfect cycle. So excellent.
Yep, and 40%, the 40% of our seafood for the entire country comes from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's huge ecotourism in terms of jobs here, but our economy and our environment are they depend on each other, and so that's why we want to make sure to reiterate that every chance we can.
Absolutely. If you like your seafood, it's most likely coming from here, so we got to take care of it. So that is very and very true. And then this is one that I love, is the Share the Beach program. This is a lot of fun.
It is back in actually it was when we were starting the oyster shell recycling program. The Friends of the Bon Secours National Wildlife Refuge president came to our board meeting and said, "Hey, we like what y'all are doing. Would you mind taking over our Share the Beach sea turtle conservation program?" And we were like, "Hey, that sounds really interesting. Let's spend next year and try to figure that out," because we had this other one we were getting off the ground. And thank goodness we did. It was 2017. We spent time. We've always promoted the volunteer opportunities and with Share the Beach, but it became the new home in 2018. And since that day, we've really enjoyed working with all of the very dedicated volunteers and team leaders to make that program as strong as it always has been, and even more so. We have a wonderful director, Sarah Johnson, who is down in Foley right now, the Indiana Snowbirds. If you're give them a shout out if they're watching right now. They've helped to raise some funds for that program, and really, we were very, very fortunate to be part of that. And if you live in the state of Alabama, that is the coolest thing. You can always adopt a nest, but we have a new license plate that has beautiful sea turtles. One of our volunteers had put the license plate together. You have to do your commitment before end of July, but it's a beautiful license plate. Again, you can do that through the website, joinacf.org. That link is there. And I forgot to mention, Dorothy, we now have flashlights for sea turtle conservation that don't disrupt sea turtles. You can use that. That link's right on our website, right next to the license plate. And if you put ACF 20, you get a 20% discount, which is kind of fun.
Nice. And they're really nice flashlights too. And I guess for those folks that don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but turtles come to the shore and lay their eggs based on the light of the moon. So when you have extra light, like the condos that have all the extra lights and, things like that, it confuses the turtles. It confuses the babies, and they go in the wrong direction. And so as a kid growing up, I used to always go out on the beach with a flashlight, looking for sand crabs or just, playing around with my friends. And, that's a perfect thing to have, is a flashlight that doesn't, draw the babies away from the water or anything like that. And
it literally is made in the USA. It is durable. It has like water and drop resistant and everything. It's got our little logo on the side, and it's really a fantastic flashlight. And it provides, you can still crab with those. I mean, it provides plenty of security and safety for human use, but it does not, our sea turtle nesting season in particular is May through October, but they can be used anytime. It's so nice to walk around at the beach and be able to see the stars as opposed to seeing somebody else's flashlight out there. So.
And that is the other benefit, is that you do actually get to see the stars, when lights out, Yep. But it's really cool too when they find a nest. I've actually witnessed them finding a nest, the volunteers coming out and finding a nest. It's pretty exciting. So, well, Mark, I really appreciate you coming on today. This has been really great. And I mean, I've known a lot about all of this stuff because, we've been friends and colleagues for years, but at the same time, I've learned a lot today too. So I really do appreciate that. I do want to give one plug to something real quick that kind of goes with this, is our Livable Communities Challenge grant. And for any of you nonprofits out there or cities that are looking to do some more outdoor accessible type things, it's a great grant to look into. And that website's up there, and I'm going to put it scrolling for just a little bit here. But it's open until March 22nd. We invite folks to please apply for that. And you can go on that website and see the past recipients of that. And, the folks who've gotten it in Alabama, folks who've gotten it all over, and get some ideas. But there's so many different opportunities you can have with that. So I would definitely encourage people to look into that for sure. And again, Mark, thanks so much for joining us. And if you didn't hear him already, his website for all of these awesome resources is joinacf.org. And you can go on there and get all of this great information, offered for free. And, again, the forest, the underwater forest video, the 5th grade lesson plans, the 3rd grade lesson plans. You can watch the Ospreys do their thing. I mean, it's just, you could spend all day on your website and have a great time. So we really appreciate you coming on, Mark. Thank you so much.
The pleasure's mine. Thank you. And thank AARP for all of the wonderful things y'all do every day. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. And folks, we're going to end with our events video. And until next time, hope you'll all have a safe and happy weekend, and laissez les bon temps rouler. Happy Mardi Gras. Thank you.